The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're the She-Squatchers. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and I've got my trusty teammates on the line. I've got Jenna Grover.
Hello.
And Tammy Trikel.
Hi, everybody. Missed you.
We missed everybody, too. I'm just going to tell you straight up, we're not going to be here next week because I'm going to be out of town working all week, and so I just can't.
And I'm going to have my babies here.
Oh, your babies are coming?
All of them.
All of the kids are coming. That is a house full.
Yes, it is. But it'll be fun.
Tell them how many kids you have, Tammy.
Well, I have 7. I gave birth to 5. I adopted 2 more as teenagers. And actually, since I've been living here, I took in another one. Well, she's living with one of my other daughters, but she's here. So I guess that makes 8 now. I collect the babies.
Yes, I did too, but they're all grown and gone now. So anyway, we've got a really awesome guest for you tonight. I'm so excited to get him on video. We've got Mike Miller from the Ohio Night Stalkers. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
Hey, we're super excited. I had you on the show before we were doing video shows too. So now everybody gets to see ya on our YouTube channel. Yay. So will you just start out just a little bit by telling people how you got interested in Bigfoot in the first place?
Okay, first I have to give a shout out to Mike Feltner. He's their co-creator of the Ohio Night Stalkers. He's working second shift. He had some turmoil there at work, and I guess I shouldn't say that, but anyway, he has to work second shift for a while. They're shorthanded, so. And I hate second shift. I know he hates it too, but so that's why he's not here.
Well, hello.
Third shift.
Hello to Mike Feltner, because it's the 2 Mikes.
Hi, Mike.
Hello. Sorry you couldn't be here, Mike.
We miss you.
One mic, only one mic tonight. One mic.
One mic.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Definitely.
So please tell us how you got interested in Bigfoot.
I watched all the shows when I was younger, through the years. Was interested in all of it, Bigfoot, aliens, Loch Ness, any of that, curious. And I thought, I didn't think anything was in Ohio. I thought, Ohio didn't have big enough sections of woods. But one night on the local news channel, they had a report. And I laughed. I thought that person's drunk or they're stoned or it was a deer. And I just thought it sounded crazy. There's nothing in Ohio. It kind of jump-started me and got me curious. Curiosity kills the cat. And I started looking into things. And I went online and found a website and started reading reports. And now when I clicked on Ohio, I thought there'd be 1 or 2 reports. But I about fell out of my chair because when I clicked on Ohio, there was like several, 100 reports. So I started clicking on the counties that I lived in and lived by and started reading them. And some of them were kind of creepy. Some of them I thought, that's stupid. That was a deer. That was probably your own shadow. I just kind of laughed. I thought that person's drunk, But a couple of the stories kind of got to me. And one of them, I grew up with a German Shepherd, so I'm partial to them. And this guy said he didn't know what was in his backyard, but his 5-year-old male German Shepherd came through the glass on the outside door to get back in the house, ran to the furthest point away in the house, curled up and peed itself. And those dogs don't do that. And that piqued my interest. So kept looking. Time goes by. Back then Facebook would say similar interest, kind of meshed with some people. And there's a couple people in Ohio, and I started messaging and talking to them. One was Dan Mosier out of Springfield. And he started sending me blurry pictures, blob squatch pictures. And I'm like, no. But, curious. And he set me up with the guy because he was having some health issues, and set me up with a guy named George Taylor. And George took me out, a couple, 2-3 months later to show me stuff, in the real world. So we go to this park that was pretty local, Miami County, Ohio. And George took me in there during the daytime and showed me, I call these guys the day stalkers. They don't go out at night. And he showed me the difference between storm damage and unnatural damage, like the tree structures and all that. And we went off the trail, even though you're not supposed to, and saw some really weird things. I seen trees that were snapped and dragged 50, 60 yards and leaned into something else. But these were big ass, pardon my language, big freaking trees, and someone didn't just carry that down there. And then I seen a tree that was bent and driven into the ground, looked like the St. Louis Arch. And the more I kept looking, the more I kept finding. I did not expect that. I thought this would be with Bigfoot in Ohio. I would look in the door, wouldn't really see anything, shut the door, move on. That's not what happened. And the more I went, the more I seen. And then we were there one day in that park and hiked it, and we were followed. And that creeped me out. Of course, people at work, he probably had somebody follow you guys and did that on purpose and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's possible, but why? I'm a truck driver. I drive for UPS. I don't work for the newspaper. I don't work for a TV show. Why go through all that trouble to trick a truck driver? But I decided to do a litmus test. I waited a few weeks and I called in sick. And I didn't tell anyone I was taking off. The only person that knew I was not going into work was God, and that's it. And I went over to this park by myself and I hiked it. I did the same thing George and I had done the last time. We went up a dry creek bed. I talk with my hands. I hope that's okay. Went up a dry creek bed, did a wood nod, did some whistles. Nothing had happened that day. Nothing happened this day. Then I went back to the trail, started hiking again. And lo and behold, I was followed again. And I'm like, okay, this is creepy. And I tell these people at work, I said, now, either something is in here or they have people that hoax Bigfoot stuff and they stay in the woods 24/7 in case somebody comes by, because that's one or the other. But fast forward that to wound up meeting a co-friend of Mike Feldner's named Mark Mills, and went out with those guys. And we went to East Fork State Park, if you know where that is. This is October. It's rainy, 40 degrees. Not a good night, but warmer than Fargo. But that was my first night hike. And, this is several months down the road, And so I thought, what the heck, I'll do this. So we go on a night hike. And I'm the third wheel. I don't do anything. I'm just kind of watching, observing, because I'm still very skeptical. And those guys do wood knocks. They do some howls. We had probably hiked a couple miles back into this place, and nothing happens. We stay there a couple hours. The rain starts picking up, and we decide to leave. And that's when things got real for me, keeping it real. We start out of there, and we haven't walked 5 minutes, and here comes a rock. And we don't have any lights on. It's pitch dark, but this rock is big enough as it's hitting branches coming at us. It's snapping them. It's not bouncing off of them. It's snapping them. It hits the tree right over by me with a lot of force, bounces off, and I hear this thing tumble end over end. And I'm like extremely worried because, wasn't expecting that. And number two, anyone that's, I'm in the back of the line. And any of you that have seen horror movies, you know what happens to the dude in the back of the line. That's me. And we still had 40, 50 minutes to walk out of there. And sure enough, maybe 15 minutes down the road, another rock from a different direction, same thing, it's snapping branches. And, I really didn't think I was going to make it out of there. I said the Lord's Prayer under my breath the rest of the way we hiked out of there. I didn't think I'd see my son again, wouldn't see him grow up. When we got off of the trail back on the regular trail, I knelt down, kissed the ground because I was freaked out. And I actually retired that night because that was just too intense. And I had all winter to think about it. And I thought, okay, there is something there. I want to know what the heck is going on. And a walking stick and a 3-inch knife isn't going to cut it anymore. So I did get my concealed carry permit for peace of mind, but I unretired. So, and then it wasn't maybe a year or so later, Mike and I kind of broke off from the other people and started our own thing. And, it's like bands do, members come and go. And we went out. Do you want me to keep going, right? Or do you want me to shut up? Or
Oh, no, keep going. You're on a roll.
Okay. A cinnamon roll would be really good right now. But anyway.
With butter.
No, that glaze, that white glaze they put on.
Yeah, and butter.
All right. But anyway, Mike and I went, of all places, Adams County, Ohio. And this is, a year or so later. And it's October again. And it's raining really bad. We go into town into West Union and we go to Walmart and People Watch. And we don't think the rain's going to quit, but lo and behold, it does about 9:30. So we go rolling back to the woods. Now we had went out there during the daytime because we like to do recon because I want to see what in the world I'm getting myself into. I don't want to roll into a place in pitch black. So, and it was creepy in there during the daytime. So we go back at night. Now this was what happened to us that night on October 11th, 2014 was the reason we were on Tear in the Woods. They did that story pretty close to what happened. They added some stuff. They didn't do some stuff, but they showed us going to that first location during the daytime. That wasn't it. We were there at night. It was probably 10, after 10, but we heard like a little one made a howl. And in the original recording of that, because we recorded that night, you hear Mike's son Jordan say that was a scream. But anyway, it gets better. Nothing else happens, and we drive. And this road is about 5 miles long, very curvy, very winding, very hilly. You need a 4-wheel drive to get back in there. And it dead ends into a graveyard of all things. And you know what's crazy that night? Everywhere we went, except the graveyard, the woods were right up on the trail, on the road. They were like right there. And when I was out of the vehicle, I thought something is going to reach out, grab me, and I'm going to be gone. And no one's even going to see it happen. They're going to turn around and go, where the heck might go? And, but anyway, at least in the graveyard, the trees are cut away. There's a few, and there's some open space. And I'm thinking, okay, if anything comes for me now, I'm going to see it coming, and I'll have a chance to have a heart attack and die before it gets to me. And but anyway, we go to this graveyard. It's probably 1-something in the morning at that time. Pitch dark. They showed us with all these flashlights. We did not do that. And we set up, do some howls, do some knocks. Nothing happens. And all of a sudden we hear something approach. We heard some weird kind of whistles. And then I don't know what to call it other than they went berserk screaming because we were there. And they're screaming, and a coyote joins in with it. And at one point, the coyote almost sounds like it's being strangled. And, that went on, and we're just standing there. The bad thing is we're talking as all this is going on because, it's never happened before, and then all of a sudden it just stops. It's like nothing ever happened. And we wait maybe a half hour or so to see if it'll start up again. No. So we start leaving, one way in, one way out. So we start out and we park at this place we call the bridge. It's a little metal bridge right there. And we get out again. And that's one of the recordings I sent you. David Ellis he's a professional sound analyst from Washington State, has analyzed a bunch of our stuff. And this one recording that I'm getting ready to talk about and what happened, when he analyzed this with his toys, he said that this one pegged higher than a baboon on the spectrograph. So that's evidence, which means that's not a coyote, it's not a dog, it's not a fox, it's not a deer, it's not some local yahoo pretending to be something. It's something alive that's unknown. That's what he called it, an unknown origin.
Let's talk about that a little bit. This program that he has for analyzing these audio files literally can identify what's making a sound based on that sound frequency, right?
Yes, his program identifies the sound, and then he also sees it on the spectrograph and sees where it goes in the hertz band. And he said most of the Bigfoot unknown recordings across the United States are somewhere between 350 and 850. It's kind of in that zone. And he explained that a coyote is 900 to 1200. It's never below that. It's never above that. And so he's got toys like Batman's got.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I had him look at one of my files one time and in person, and he listened to it and he's like, "Oh, that sounds like a barred owl." I'm like, "Yeah, but listen to this," because I had different recordings on different devices of it. And he listened, he's like, "That sounds like a barred owl, but it's not." I'm like, "Right?"
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
But
Anyway,
go ahead.
You back to your recordings, because this is cool. So it was showing up as larger than a baboon.
Yep. And that was at the bridge. And in the original recording, I didn't send you the original, but it had rained so much that every little creek in that area was like a river that night. It was just horrible. And I had walked down a path trying to get away from it. And I walked back. And you can actually hear me set the recorder on the hood of his vehicle. You hear the click, and then this thing cut loose. Same thing, the coyote joined in with it, and it was mimicking at the end of the scream, it was mimicking whoa, whoa, what the coyote was doing. And you've got to be a primate to sound out of owl sound. And another thing we didn't realize is this thing is way closer than it was at the graveyard. It's getting closer, and we're oblivious to that. And it did that scream and then stopped. It's like at the other place, stopped. Nothing else happened. We go on down the road. Now, we learned a lesson that night because his recorder died and my batteries died. So we didn't get anything else recorded that night, but we did get about 4 things recorded. But we go down the road quite a ways, probably a couple of miles, and there's a spot where it's wide enough to turn around. So we call it the turnaround. And we parked there. And Mike goes over to the edge of the road to do a howl. And that's where he's seen one. It was actually behind a tree, and it had leaned out to look at him. And he saw the red eye, and he could see the part of the cone, part of the head. And it did Mike's vocalization back to him, but its version of it. So it sounded like Mike, but about an 800-pound Mike. And, that caused him some anxiety. and he about fell down coming back to the Jeep. Or no, it wasn't the Jeep that night, it was the Kia. But they showed him on the TV show having a big time, like panic, anxiety attack. And no, that didn't happen. But yeah, we were all, pretty overwhelmed. And we went to the vehicle and we left. We went down the road. But of course, we're not too bright. These things are getting closer and it's just not registering yet. So we decide to stop one more time. And we get out, and Jordan cuts loose with a howl this time. He's got a good one like his dad. And he gets a response immediately. I mean, the air's not even out of Jordan's lungs, and we got a reply. But here's what freaked me out. One of the replies is on this side of the road. The other reply is behind us. And right away, I'm like, oh, we're surrounded. There's one on each side. There's multiple. And are they going to let us leave? I actually felt like, hey, we're being herded, and I was really alarmed at that point. And then there was another sound we heard. It sounded like maybe Mike had driven over something and punctured a tire, because I'm hearing air. I walk over to his vehicle, not coming from his vehicle. It's coming from inside the wood line. And like I said, I'm a truck driver. I'm not too smart. But anyway, I decided to walk over and step in there because I'm curious what's making this noise. I thought, did somebody throw a freaking scuba tank in the woods? I mean, what is it? So I walk in there. I can't see nothing. It's pitch black. I'm not using a light. And I stop. It's probably a good thing I stopped too, because there was something in front of me, probably not even 20 yards in front of me. I can't see it. What I'm hearing is something, it's sucking air into its lungs. That's what I'm hearing. And I get goosebumps telling this. This thing sucks air into its lungs, and it emits a very low, very guttural, to me, a final warning. All these other ones were the Klan, but this was Big Daddy in there. And this very low, very different sounding scream, whatever you want to call it. I don't ever want to hear it again because, I think it's a final warning. It reverberated off my chest like I was at a rock concert, heavy metal. And it floored me. I mean, it reverberated off my chest, and it meant get out of here or else. And I literally backed out of there, and I turned, and in a very high-pitched voice, I yelled, "We're getting the F out of here now." And now they showed me firing a warning shot on the show. I did not do that. I did pull my guns. I don't know if this thing's coming. And I'm backing up. I didn't want to turn my back on it. So I backed out of there, and I had it down at my leg. And we looked like Keystone Cops getting back in the car. And Mike took off, and he about drove off the freaking incline there because we were up. We were still up on the ridge. And he about took us over the ridge, over the hills and through the woods to somebody's house we go. But and we got out of there. And we went down the road, and we basically we were so amped up on adrenaline, we had to stop. We had to stop and take deep breaths to calm down. Make sure George's in the car because we got in there and got out of there, and kind of calming down. Mike's got a car running, got the bright lights on. A deer walks out in front of us and stops dead in the road. Never looked at our car one time. And I look at Mike, I go, "Does this freaking thing want to ride?" It was looking at the direction we just came from, and it pawed the ground. It looks like it snorted, and it freaking kind of backed out of there and turned, and it went the other way. And we left. Now, we got 5 miles down the road, and Mike wanted to turn around, drive down the road, just drive down the road. And I'm like, no, they'll probably push a tree down on us. Let's go home. But, that night I will never, ever forget as long as I'm alive. Because that just, that was like the World Series Game 7 and the Super Bowl in one night. That much stuff doesn't normally happen. And I think maybe because no one had ever went in that area and bugged them, got on their nerves, we were their entertainment that night. And we just right place, right time.
It's a creepy spot because Mike took me there when I was out in Ohio one time, and I'm like, who puts a cemetery here? I mean, really?
Yeah. Remember the guy parked sitting in the middle of the road with his arms crossed,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy's wanting to talk to us, and yeah, he was wanting to know what we were doing, driving around there.
Yeah, he did.
I want to go, you guys. So next time we go to Ohio,
Let's go.
let's go. Ready to do it.
I'm ready. It's warmer there. He said it's 50 degrees in Ohio today.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think it was 8 at the high, and that was at like 2. Tammy,
It's 67 here today.
laugh it up, Tammy. Brag it up. My mom always said, when you're bragging, you're dragging. So I understand.
You're bragging, you're dragging.
Bragging, you're dragging. I had a very wise mother. So
She
I don't-
is very wise. She is. I'm checking the current temperature in Fargo right now. It's -2.
Oh goodness.
What's the feel like temperature?
I gotta open it to find out. It's a widget. It's a widget. I'm opening. Feels like -19.
Oh my goodness, I don't miss it at all.
You just stay in when it's that cold.
I've had my heating pad on me since I got home.
Mhm.
Sitting with it on my feet and on my lap. Got my feet tucked in underneath me here. Oh, it's cold.
Pads are wonderful. They're wonderful. We should get discounts in the Midwest.
Yes.
You
I
should get
haven't-
sponsored.
Yes. We need
This is-
sponsors for heating pads, please.
This is a weighted heating pad. It's weighted with the little beads that Tammy hates. And it also has vibration in there. You can turn on a massager.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't think I
Tell me more.
I don't like vibrations in my body.
La, la,
Jim,
la, la,
Oh.
la, la, la,
Oh,
la.
stop! You don't
He doesn't want to know. He
Okay,
doesn't
I
want
have
to know.
to stop because it's sounding much worse than it really is. And
Anyway.
I love heating pads. Thank you
I
very
am not
much.
responsible for this content.
That's fantastic. Boy,
Oh,
the
I
chat
can't
room.
go-
Is the chat room just quiet tonight, or is it just is
Yeah,
mine
nobody's asking you any questions.
okay? Because I'm like, I think my chat is frozen.
No,
Hello,
nobody's asking you
everybody. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and to the chat room. If you have any questions for Mike, please let us know. When we come back from the break, we're going to play some of your audio files, Mike, and then we'll continue our conversation. But we're not quite to the break yet. Another thing that we want to talk to you about tonight is Mike is one of the people that I do remote viewing for when they're about to go out into the field. And lately I've been having the girls look too a little bit. So normally he doesn't give me a lot of notice.
No, I'm sorry.
He's like, hey, we're going out. Oh,
Hey, we're there right now. What do you got going on?
can you look right now? And, I am so far away from Mike. I don't know how many hours. It's probably a 16, 15, 14-hour drive. So it's
Probably
not
at
like
least,
I could get there that quick to go in the woods and do anything. Okay, couldn't
I
hope
like
if
you'd
I
be
wanted
going around. You would never be going alone, Jen.
to. Right? And
Right? You said I.
well, my point was that he doesn't give me a lot of notice that they're going out there. So I couldn't set up anything out there to hoax him anyway, because I couldn't
Oh.
possibly get there. And if I have to take Jenna, it takes her at least 3 days to pack.
Possibly more.
Remind me when we touch on the remote viewing, remind me to tell the cabin story about that.
I will.
We'll get there. Okay.
I will. Okay.
Oh.
Well, with that, I think we should go to our commercial break. We'll be right back, and stay tuned, everybody.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Good job, Mike.
I messed that up.
Oh, you're so funny.
That was perfect. That was great.
Yes.
Oh,
Now I'm wondering which cabin story you're going to tell. Because I've looked at the cabin a few times, haven't I?
Yes, yeah. I got a face for radio.
Oh, shush.
You've got the voice for it. You've got the voice for it, for
I
real.
got the voice for radio.
There you go.
So
There you go.
God. No,
So
by the way, no shave November is over.
Good.
I did it. I did it. I
See,
had
Oh,
we're
I guess
dragging
it
into
is
this
over.
conversation, and what I want to say, I can't say, so I'm not saying it.
Okay.
no. Okay, my leg hair. They mentioned, shave November, and I thought, heck, I've never tried to not shave for a month. I don't shave for 2 days, and it's like very long. So I thought, okay, I'll try it. Well, after like 3 weeks, my boyfriend said, if you don't shave that off, I'm going to, because it was so long. I look like man legs. He said, if you don't shave that off, I'm going to dry shave it tomorrow.
This is going on YouTube.
That's why I let her keep talking.
Okay.
Laugh it up, Tammy.
Put the children to bed right now because they not want to hear this.
Oh, we're good, Dad.
You guys are funny. We can hear that boom, 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 Jenna.
Oh, sorry. I'll turn myself back on mute.
I can do a Southern voice. My mom was from Tennessee. My dad was from Texas, so I'm allowed.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. We should be back on soon.
No, that wasn't on the radio. What's that?
I can hear you. You're not on mute.
There's something else.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're the She-Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at she-squatchers.com? And hey, our YouTube channel's there. You got to check it out. You got to come to our YouTube channel, She-Squatchers Official. Subscribe to our channel. Check out all our videos. We've got videos from the woods. We've got videos of our findings. We've got videos of interviews we've done. You just got to check it out. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and then come on over to Facebook and Instagram, She-Squatchers Official. Like and follow us there for the most up-to-date information. So, hey, we're back to the show. We've got Mike Miller from the Ohio Night Stalkers because they go out at night. They like to go out at night.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do.
They do not. And these guys do. So good job for you guys because it's a different story. Night and day. We do both. And I got to tell you, nighttime is a different kind of story, especially when you're walking out there.
It's all fun and games until the sun goes down.
Right. All right, so we're gonna have Sarge play some of those audio clips for us. I think there's 3 clips because the 4th one was a duplicate of the ooh, or whatever.
Right.
But so Sarge, could you please play those audio clips for us?
I got it right there. I got something. See, I caught it too. That goes down that way. What's that? That was a coyote that just did that.
All right. So that big crash. Tell us about that.
Okay, we're going to go in reverse order from the last to the first.
Well, I think everybody's going to want to know, what was that big crash?
That was a rock hitting my Jeep, actually.
How big was that rock?
Probably if you held 2 golf balls together, probably that big.
Okay.
That area is probably 10 miles by the way the crow would fly from the 2014 location. We don't think they like us being back there. The first time we went there, we played. Cody's got a call blaster thing like Russ uses in the Expedition Bigfoot show, and it's got pre-recorded animal sounds on it, and we played a wolf howling. Probably not any wolves in Ohio anymore, but anyway, we played it to stir things up. After sitting in the dark, talking normal voice for about 40 minutes, we played that. Nothing happened. About 40, then we waited a little bit longer. We played wolves howling, and we got something in distress going across the ridge and actually coming down towards us. And deer usually don't do that. And it, to me, I didn't send you that one, but it sounds like a gibbon monkey kind of a sound. But maybe a half hour after that ended, they started lighting us up. And then that was the second time we went a couple weeks later. We didn't even have to call blast. We literally went to an area, set some chairs up, sat down just to sit there, and wham. And yeah, they don't like us there. And that was that one.
That second one to me sounded like it was singing, like a song. To me, that's what it sounded like, that they were singing a song. That was amazing. I've never heard that before.
Well, that's the David Ellis edit of the one from the bridge. That's the one that registered higher than a baboon on the spectrograph. And what he does is he left the coyotes in there. They're way in the background. He subdues them, and he loops it to where you hear it 2-3 times in a row. You can hear it really good, and that's it. That's the one that pegged higher than a baboon. Yep, that's from the bridge. And then the very first one is just from a couple of years ago, and we actually call that recording the ooh ah ooh recording, because that freaking thing is going ooh ah ooh, and coyotes cannot sound out vowel sounds. And yeah, that pretty much narrows it down to what it is.
So was that also at that location by the graveyard, or was that at the other spot?
That's in a different spot. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There's a question in the chat room. It says, that is a good point. If you play non-native animal sounds, is there a reaction?
We think the reason that we think a young one went into distress the first time we did that is because it's probably not heard a wolf. It's probably heard dogs. It's probably heard coyotes, of course. It's not heard a wolf. Wolf is a lot different, and it probably freaked it out. Maybe mom or the rest of the family wasn't that close, and it got scared, and it did that. And then here come the troops to protect it. And of course, they didn't find a wolf or a coyote or a dog. They found us. So that's when the rock started. Yeah, I think that definitely got things going.
How many times has your car been hit by these rocks?
Wow. Actually, Mike's Kia, I don't know how many times, but they've cracked the window, and there's other damage. One of the bigger rocks actually came down and hit his windshield wiper, and it actually did kind of hit it and dented and popped it up. And if it wouldn't have hit that, it probably would have took the window out. They've actually, on my Jeep, we have a 22-inch parabolic microphone. It's not amplified. I have it plugged into a recorder, and I usually set it on the Jeep and face it in the lucky area, I'm hoping. And they actually, one of the rocks hit that, and it, knocked it across, the top of the Jeep, and the rock actually rolled across the hood of the Jeep or the top of the Jeep and went in through my moonroof, actually. And but then they've hit it, and I've got dents and everything else. You know, so if I ever get a new car, it sure in the heck ain't going back there.
Right? Right? I need to keep my Envoy for that purpose. It's all rusty because I've driven it and scraped it up, and it's got huge rust spots on it now, but now it's definitely a Squatchmobile.
Yeah. Have a Squatchmobile.
Yep. Yep. For those places you're not going to drive anything new.
Nope.
Right? Right. Um, well, that's very, very interesting. And I know you wanted to tell the cabin story. I do want ask if you could touch on, when we've done some remote viewing for you, like what's happened.
Well, the cabin where we stay, it's in a great place. It's really close to our areas, and we've actually had some stuff happen there. We found a stick structure back in there. Now, I've wanted to do things there, and Mike kind of, and I see where he's coming from. He feels if we go there to the cabin, we Bigfoot there, then we're not going to these other places. Like we're kind of wasting the night. But I'm like, hey, man, we've had stuff happen. But anyway, I asked Jen one time to view this location and tell me what she thought. And even though I know these girls, and you're going to think I'm a homer or something like that, I'm a She-Squatcher fan. That doesn't matter, because I gave Jen zero information other than the location of this cabin, and asked her to look at it and tell me what she thought. And I don't know how, a day later or whatever it was, she sends me back a picture of that location, a satellite image, and in orange she had put where they were and where they were coming up. There's a pond there, and where they were coming up and stuff. And lo and behold, I will tell the audience that where she marked where things were going on, well, guess what? Things were going on there. We had stuff down in there, heard stuff down in there. So she pegged it.
Yay. Love to hear that. We love getting feedback. So, and then it makes it more fun because, if you're getting out when I can't get out, it's a way that we can get out.
Yep.
In a way, through you, vicariously.
Yeah, there's where this cabin is on the road it's on, there's a road behind it, like the road is like a Y, and there's a ridge and a big wooded area in between those two roads. And there was a lady we had talked to, we ran into by accident a couple years ago. Much been no longer than that now, but she used to live back in there, and she told us that one had been going through the area where the creek runs, and her neighbor must have shot at it, and he must have hit it, because as it went on down through the creek bottoms, it screamed like bloody murder kind of a scream, and was so mad it was ripping limbs out of trees. And when it got down, I don't know how many miles this is down to where the creek goes out or whatever, this lady, her name was Dorothy, she knew the people at the end of this, where this was. They had a kennel out back and had a couple of German shepherds. She said the dogs burrowed under their kennel because they wanted no part of this thing that was coming down through the creek, because it was mad. So, yeah. And then, and actually the people that we rent the cabin from, the phone company was out there up on a pole last year, and the technician come down and said he heard the god awfulest scream he's ever heard in his life. He has no clue what it was. It's kind of funny.
Well, that is fun. That is fun.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about the other location that I've viewed for you? We'll just say the cable location. Is that
okay.
the
Gotcha.
cable location? Because we never want to say where exactly these places are, but Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I've viewed that spot for you for quite a few times now, and it's fun to see how it changes from time to time to time. Because the first time I looked at it, there were a lot of them there, and they were, I remember, I can't remember if that was the first or the second time that I told you they were really aggressive and not to mess around with them.
That's where the rocks have been coming from, the cable area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in there, and or not somebody, but a company has went in there and did some logging. And they've used part of that land as a staging area. They're probably not liking that either. But the cable area is where the rocks are coming from. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually, if I may, back in July, we took Russell Acord from Expedition Bigfoot to that location back in July, and had an interesting night that included more rocks and a couple screams. And what I really wanted to get recorded that we didn't get recorded that night, we recorded, but the bugs were so bad that night. They were overwhelming. And got the gibberish talk down that hill. And like you hear it, and it's like, oh my God, there's someone, someone's come up, trying to sneak up on us. And you stop, you stop even breathing. You hold your breath because you're like, okay, if I could pick out a word or two, I could figure out what they're talking about. But it never makes any sense. There's not one word that registers. And but that happened, and Russ was pretty psyched about it. He wants to come back.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I'm trying to place where that was because I remember I looked at it for you that night. And
if you go to
is that where I said the kids were?
I think that was to the other side.
Okay, because that particular night I saw younger ones huddled together, and they were doing this. Shh, don't tell. So I didn't tell you that night, and I got the feeling because I knew Russell would go in there after him.
Russ did some crazy stuff. He did some chest pounding, and he did some aggressive stuff to elicit a response. But and I think he tore part of a limb out of a tree. We said he was channeling his inner King Kong when he did that.
Oh my!
But it was a heck of a night, and when we went back, a few weeks later, there was a couch. Some idiots, some people drove back in there and dumped stuff. Makes me so freaking mad. And they had dumped this couch, and it's been there probably 3 years, because you could see it just down the hill there. And that thing was laying across the road when we went back. And that has to be in response to what Russ did. Yeah, they didn't like that. So that couch, and it's like, for people, why would anyone pick up a couch and carry it out to the road? And we're talking, I don't know, 100 yards at least. And this couch has been out in the elements for 3 years, probably waterlogged, nasty. And, it would take a few people to carry that. And there was we looked for drag marks in case they used their razor things, maybe hooked something up to it and dragged it out. Nothing. That thing was carried out and plopped right across the road there.
And there was no prints or anything around it. It was literally just, and I know it was, I'm seeing in my head that it's gravel. Was it gravel, you said?
It's not really a road, and it's a lot of gravel in it, and just a little bit of dirt and mud. I mean, it's just,
okay.
It's not a good.
But it would be something where you'd be able to see footprints if, didn't you?
Yeah, we've looked around. We didn't see any. Now we found structures there, and we found where they marked stuff. They did they've snapped some trees off. That we've seen and everything. We actually put peanut butter out last time. We're trying to, say, hey, we're sorry. We don't mean harm. We just, we want you to come out and say hello,
Eat our peanut butter. I think that's awesome. I really do. In fact, I think it's so incredible that they can actually open up a peanut butter jar and then replace the top.
Yeah, in a different location one time, we put 2 peanut butter jars. But one of them, we took 2-sided tape and put around the jar thinking they would grab that one and maybe it would pull some hair away. They noticed because it was identical. I don't know if it was Jif or Skippy or who, whatever the brand was. You know, we try to give Bigfoot the good peanut butter. We don't want to take that great value crap or Aldi. We give Bigfoot the good stuff. But anyway, this thing noticed that that jar was different with that tape around it, and they didn't touch it. They took the one that didn't have the tape. They left the other one, and they actually took a few sticks, and underneath that tree, they kind of did like a little teepee looking thing. Like they were like saying, hey, don't, stay away.
Yeah.
But they noticed that tape. So they're
Very cool.
Yeah, they're intelligent.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
what kind of peanut butter do you think Bigfoot prefers?
Name brand, probably.
I agree. I agree with you, Mike. It's totally Jif.
But we're gonna mess with Sasquatch here next year. We're gonna get some of them, those things you buy at the store. Like if you want to take stuff in and give it to people, the containers with the lids, and like get some chocolate bars and put one down in that, screw the lid on, and then anchor them in there to where, they have to unscrew the thing. And if a raccoon or something, squirrel or something messes with that, they chew through it. You're going to know it was compromised by something like that. But we're
Love it.
We're gonna make Bigfoot work for it.
Dang
Okay, there's
straight.
another question in the chat room. Sherry asked, did you keep any of the rocks that were thrown into your vehicle for DNA sample?
The rocks are actually in my Jeep. They're in the freaking what the hell's that called?
Console?
Console, thank you. Yeah, they're in my console actually. No, we did not send them for DNA because famous people like Jeff Meldrum, who's awesome, they probably check that stuff for him and probably don't charge him. They would charge us, and
And a lot.
Yes. So that's not going to happen. Now, if there's any, millionaires out there that want to sponsor us so we can do stuff like that, hey, I'm all for it. But no, we kept the rocks, but no DNA samples. And
and another question, Sherry also asked, is chocolate bad for Bigfoot because it is for dogs?
No, Bigfoot's, I don't know what Bigfoot is, if it's primate, human, whatever, but.
Maybe it would be bad for
also
Dog
safe.
Man, but it'd be okay for Bigfoot. Dog Man's kryptonite is chocolate bars.
She said the D
You
word.
just made a witty comment, Tammy, that I will remember for a very long time.
She nailed it.
That was so good.
I gotta say, Tammy brought up the D word, the Dog Man. Mike, we gotta ask you, what do you think about the Dog Man?
Oh, yes.
He puts his sunglasses on.
Dog, okay, people are going to hate me, but Dog Man is misidentified Bigfoot because
All right.
I think in those areas, maybe the breeding population is kind of thin. Maybe they're dating the cousins, the sisters, and what have you. But that's the only girls in town. But I think there gets some deformity that way. And because Bigfoot, whatever it is, if we were able to test it and find out, it's going to make sense. It's going to fall into that tree somewhere. It's going to make, if science was able to do that, it's going to make sense. But to me, something that's half dog, half man, you're getting into science fiction. And I'm sorry, I can't sign off on it.
All right. Fair enough.
Or alien. I mean, maybe there's not half dog, half man. Maybe it's an alien species.
What do you think of Aliens?
I love the first two movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just hasn't seen any yet. That's all.
No, I believe,
Exactly.
to me, all that space up in the sky and it goes on forever, which is mind boggling. How in the world is that much real estate up there? It makes no sense to me, but it is, there has to be something else, if we are all there is, that's pretty boring actually, kind of sad. So there's got to be something else, and that, Bigfoot doesn't bother my faith or anything. I kind of think maybe God has a planet with just the dinosaurs on it. We couldn't have been here with them. But he's probably got a planet just for them. But anyway, I'm going off the track. But yeah, I believe in that. It's just there's just too much real estate up there.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? I actually watched a movie right before the show tonight, and it was called Nope, Nope, and it was on Prime. It was good. It was so much better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be this silly little, but it was really good. So I'm recommending. Speaking of aliens, that's all I have to say about that.
I've seen it.
Check it out. Jen, right? Oh, I was really.
Jenna, no, kidding.
What?
Advertising dollars, advertising.
Oh gosh, no. I wouldn't. I'd make no money.
We tried to get sponsors before. When Jenna and I were addicted to Doritos, we tried really hard to get Doritos to sponsor.
And Bang energy drinks. We tried them too.
Yeah, Doritos unfortunately made us gain a few pounds. We were like, look, we eat them all the time.
We did.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm still carrying around some of those Doritos on my butt. But
yeah,
it's tough because, I played when I was younger and skinnier, I played softball, and it was hard to get sponsors then. And everybody knows what softball is, and when you talk to someone and say, hey, would you like to sponsor our Bigfoot research group for travel and shirts and all that kind of stuff, they're like, what? But we're kind of lucky. We've had a few actually, that's how we met Jeff Byers. I bought one of his cryptid action figures, and in the comment box when I ordered it, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to sponsor us? Because we're researchers and you got an action figure, and it's almost like the peanut butter and chocolate thing, And he kind of got a kick out of that and contacted me, and that's how that started.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. And just so you all know, Russell Acord wears a little action figure of a Bigfoot on his backpack on the show, Expedition Bigfoot.
Yes.
And that came from Jeff Byers.
Yes, it did. He's the owner and creator of Creature Replica. Yes, he is. Yep.
Creature Replica, and they're not even sponsoring us, but here we go. Creature Replica, check it out. We love Jeff.
He's a good guy,
Yeah.
He's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's really that way. Him and Russ have done a lot of things for Bob and traveled with him, and I know firsthand about that. And yeah, just good people. Just like the She-Squatchers. God, I can't talk tonight.
You're just nervous. I'm kidding. Being around all of us ladies.
You're surrounded.
We have that effect on guys.
I'm surrounded
That's
by
a lot of long hair.
I'm nervous.
Well, don't be nervous. Tell us how people can contact you, because we're coming towards the end of the show.
No way.
Yeah.
We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Ohio Night Stalkers, space between each word. They can get a hold of us there. We do have, we sell t-shirts to fund our equipment and travel expenses. And we actually have a new CD out, a double CD, which I sent to you girls. And
Yes.
these girls are on there. And Jeff Meldrum's on there, and Bob is on there. And because we like to take our work that we've recorded and stick it on something and put it out there. But it seems like a lot of people don't have CD players anymore, but
I don't either. I haven't listened to it yet.
I can't leave all these recordings on the thing I've got them on, because what if it goes, dies, then they're lost forever,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Well, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for joining us tonight. Mike Miller, everybody. What an awesome guest. Thank you. I hope you'll come back again.
Mike.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you in person again sometime soon.
Yes. Watch the She-Squatchers
Yay!
Subscribe.
every
Watch
time
the
they're on.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.